Hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the cooler realizations I've had about this particular instrument throughout my life. When we play folk music and country music and stuff like that, a 1-4-5 chord change is pretty common. So like a G, C, and D. But once we start to get into music that is more influenced by jazz, you run into a chord change which is a 6-2-5-1. I think a lot of times people get scared of that, or they will think of jazz as something that, is a little bit abstract. But there are common chord changes in that particular genre of music, depending on which genre it is, as similar as there are in bluegrass and folk music and country music. You just gotta have to learn a couple of different styles of chord changes. For this one, though, you can look at what's called the circle of fifths. So this is more of a horn tool, but actually can be used with any instrument, right? When you think of the circle of fifths, though, you've really got to understand diatonically how that ties together. So for a mandolin, you really can think of that in like your double stop pattern, right? So that is a diatonic expression of a major scale, meaning I'm taking each note of a major scale and I'm giving it harmony, or I'm giving a chord for each note in the major scale, right? G major, A minor, B minor, C major, D major, E minor, F sharp, G. F sharp minor for now, because if you're playing a double stop version, I'm really only worried about expressing two notes, so I don't really have to worry about complex harmonies. That is a diatonic expression, but if we number those, we'll get a little bit of information when I say 6-2-5-1, right? The 6 being minor, the 2, and the natural way being also being minor, but you can play it major for the jazz context, and then the 5 being major, right? So now you have a little bit of understanding of what I'm saying when I say a 6-2-5-1. So an E minor to an A. That one is going to be an A7, but really thinking of it more of a dominant chord, so it's going to be an A major to a D. Let's play it. Well, luckily your instrument is tuned with the highest string on the instrument, or the highest pitch string on the instrument, being an E, then an A, then a D, then a G. So the open tuning is set up in a 6-2-5-1, meaning we can play an E minor arpeggio, A major, D major, G major. Now that is a very simple way to move through a complex chord change, or something maybe that you're not familiar with if you've been playing bluegrass and country and folk music and you haven't run across this type of chord change, or maybe you have and you don't know what to play over it. I think that it's a little bit intimidating when you start to doing this type of walking, but once you start to realize that your instrument is kind of set up for it, it makes a lot more sense to me. There is a bluegrass or a fiddle tune context to this, though. If you know the song by Frank Wakefield, The New Camptown Races, that's in B flat, right? And people struggle with B flat because, to think about, well, I'm B flat, what's my 6, right? Well, if you know to just bar on that 3rd fret right there, because it's just taking the nut, and right, and if the open is G, and then that's G sharp, A, B flat, everything moves up with you there. So then your 6-2-5-1 is right there. So B flat, G, C, F, B. And that makes runs like sound much more complex than what they really are when you understand how the instrument is tuned and how you can kind of get a leg up on knowing some of these more horny, jazzy style of chord changes. If you enjoy this content, please come over to Patreon to support the channel, and I will include mandolin lessons with your monthly subscription. So come check it out, and like, subscribe, and we'll see you at the next video. Thanks for watching.